Let's speak to Gabriel Said Reynolds about this. He's Professor of Theology at the University of Notre Dame and host of Exploring the Quran and the Bible. He's joining us from Indiana in the U.S. Thank you, Professor, for your time. What's your sense of the significance of the Pope's visit to Lebanon at this time, and how is it different from his trip to Türkiye just a few days ago?
It's very interesting to note how the visit to Turkey or Türkiye emphasized really intra-Christian, sort of church-centric, but also theological questions of reconciliation with the Eastern Orthodox Christians. Whereas in Lebanon, we see a real shift to the church engaging to reconciliation on a political level. And what a theater for that shift to take place, because Lebanon represents hope, as Pope Leo has emphasized, but also represents division and sectarian conflict. So it's a real stage in which the Pope can address those sorts of questions. Right.
Lebanon has long been held up as a model for coexistence, but as we've heard and seen, the Christian community in Lebanon has been shrinking. What are the realistic strengths and limitation of that model today? And do you think Pope Leo, his message, can heal some of the divisions that we've seen in Lebanon?
Yeah, that's a great point to address, because there are complications in which sort of real life meets religious and spiritual heritage. The Holy Father has really emphasized the ancient Christian heritage of Lebanon. He visited today the shrine of one of a number of Lebanese saints, Mar Charbel, or Saint Charbel, in the village of Anaya, to really draw attention to the historic roots of Christianity. He wants to make the point that Christianity is not in its origins a Western or European, let alone an American religion, but has its roots in the Middle East together with Judaism and Islam. But then there's also real life. There's political instability, there's an economic crisis, there's the ongoing question of conflict with neighbors. And so in addressing all of the Lebanese, Pope Leo really has to speak in a way that is reasonable and practical to next step for ordinary Lebanese.
Right. And as you said, I mean, his visit comes amid fears of a renewed conflict between Hezbollah and Israel. What role do you think, if any, can religious voices play in easing these tensions? And is there historical precedent for religious interventions de-escalating tensions between armed actors in this region?
Yeah, this is a great point. And one of his first addresses, where he gathered the political leaders together, in which there were Muslim, both Shiite and Sunni, and Druze, and Christian political leaders there, he really made the point that there's so much that joins Lebanese together, even something that might seem sort of whimsical. He spoke about the Lebanese love for music. So there are these cultural bonds which draw together all Lebanese. He even refers to the Levantine Arabic, so the Lebanese Arabic, which is common between Muslims, Christians, and others in Lebanon. Now, the question is, to what degree do these cultural, even linguistic bonds, do they form a bridge which will join people together? As has been noted, there are external forces which threaten to draw Lebanese apart. And, ordinary Lebanese, they find this a menace, a threat that's always sort of in the air among them. So external actors, different actors who use Lebanon as sort of a theater to play out large and regional conflicts.
Professor, so interesting to talk to you about this. Thank you so much for joining us on Al Jazeera. Gabriel Said Reynolds, Professor of Theology at the University of Notre Dame in the U.S. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.